All right, we're back. Xbox 180, disconnected. Who wants to start? Where should we begin?
I mean, first off, the news. On Tuesday, Microsoft announced that starting June 9th, there would be a disconnected, essentially, they are unbundling Connect with the Xbox One. And the console itself would be available, I don't know if it's a reduced price, I guess, of $399, so the same as the PS4. In addition to that, starting in June, Netflix, Hulu, all the stuff that you don't pay for beyond just the subscription to those services, other places, those will be moved outside of the paywall. Basically, the way that PlayStation works.
Well,
And
except
then,
for the free-to-play stuff.
Yeah.
There's a statement today about
Oh,
that.
and it's kind of weird because on 360 it's still free forever. On Xbox One, it's subscription based.
yep.
I was
Oh
worried
no.
about that.
Well, Tekken was referring to the free-to-play games are still behind the Xbox
Yeah,
Live
they're still behind the wall.
paywall.
Because they said
yeah,
you can't do anything on the 360 side. They said, I think that was their reasoning. I don't know.
Huh.
It's weird.
They have anyway, we'll get to that. But yeah, the other thing was Games for Gold is coming to Xbox One in June. But it will function differently than on the 360. So on the 360, as Gamer was saying, it still continues. Once your gold subscription lapses, you get to keep all those games. But on the Xbox One, it will function like PlayStation Plus, whereas after gold subscription lapses, you no longer have access to those games. They came out with their reasoning. I mean, their spin is we're giving consumers more choices. The spin is Connect is still an important part of our vision. The games with gold thing on Xbox One is so we can offer newer games. You know, that's just how the partnerships work out. Yeah, $399. Well,
And we
okay,
also don't
so-
know how much Connect will be when they unbundle it.
Right.
They did say it's going to be less than 100.
Really?
Well, no, they
It's
said
not
it
gonna
would
be 100.
it would likely not be 100. I actually think
Yeah.
that means it's going to be more than 100.
Me too.
Oh my god, no way.
Yeah,
Well,
like
Connect was
that's-
150, wasn't it, for like the longest time, right?
yeah,
Was
I
it?
think that's how they get people to buy the bundle still.
Oh
Oh,
god.
yeah, that's
like-
a good point, Article.
Oh
Yeah,
You have
otherwise
to-
it's like be the point.
It's like you want to Connect, buy the bundle.
You want Connect, buy the bundle. Sure,
It's like-
you can wait
Yeah.
and not buy it now, but it will cost you, more if you buy it later. So you should just buy it now. So, okay, well, first off, I have a question. Can you still do the TV controlling stuff without a Connect? Like-
Yes.
Gamer, do you have your Connect attached?
Yeah, always.
Okay.
He's one of the 80%.
And
I
if
love
you if you detach it from the system, can it still control your TV?
You can still control it to your controller.
Right, but like, can you change channels on your TV with your controller without the Connect?
With the controller. I don't have a TV connected to it.
Oh, well, okay. So you're
But
not
I'm
using.
I'm just going like by other people saying like you could still use the one guide to go through channels.
Okay.
So there's
See, that
still
was-
ways, but then someone said, because I haven't seen it, I haven't tried it yet, but if you disconnect the Connect from the system, there's certain settings you can't access in the settings menu. So it's like, oh, that's weird.
On your TV or on the Xbox?
On the
itself?
Xbox, on the Xbox.
Oh.
itself.
That is
With-
weird.
So without the Connect, you don't have access to certain sections. So like, I think they're gonna they should address that soon.
Well, I mean, my understanding was that Connect is how the system controls your TV. So
Oh, it
when you
does.
say Xbox on, it turns on your TV and your sound system and all that because it has an IR blaster in the Connect. It hits everything and they all turn on. And that's how you can change channels and change volume and do all that stuff with your Xbox One. But without Connect, you have no IR blaster.
Uh,
So, but
huh.
I don't know if that's how it works actually, and I haven't been able to find anyone's confirmation or
Yeah,
not.
no clue here. Man, TV's the least of my problems when it comes to Xbox. Like my biggest thing is like I love the Xbox Record that feature. How would you do that without a Connect?
Yeah, they don't have a
Because
share
like
button.
No share
Xbox,
button.
because you could still use people have been saying you could still use the game DVR, but that's like
Yeah.
that's not the same. It's like when you do Xbox Record that, it's 3 words, and it does the last 30 seconds, which is what you want, especially if something hilarious happens. But like if you use the game DVR, you still have to snap it, press the window button, go to it, press record, go back to your game. Like it's like compared to Connect is a godsend. Like, man, using controller to do anything in that system is goddamn irritating. That's why Connect is like I leave it plugged in because it's more convenient for me to use Connect than with the controller. Because sometimes controller, oh my god, it's like, you just want to pull your hair out. And if you have no hair, you want to bust your head in. But yeah, that's why Connect. I think, oh man, I don't know. Removing Connect
They
is.
did say they're gonna try to improve the menu now that they're undoing that.
Like that's the thing. Like one of the things that people have been saying is you need Connect because the menus are terrible. Like they are designed for Connect. And so without Connect, they're going to have to change the menus, which is some are saying that's probably why it's not, the bundle isn't available or the unbundle isn't available tomorrow. It's going to be June before it's available because they have to fix, everything before they can release a non-Connect version of the Xbox One.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I think there's a patch coming out later this month that will fix certain things, but that maybe they're gonna sneak in some fixes for this revamp. But still, man, controller like I don't know. There's some things without Connect. I don't know how are you gonna do it.
Well, so Game DVR, you were saying, when you use Game DVR, it records everything after you've done Game DVR?
No, you have to press record on Game DVR for it to
And
record something on what you're playing. It
okay,
doesn't.
so
Yeah, it doesn't record the
it's
last.
not like retro. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like the share button. See, oh man, share button, perfect. Like you just, sure, it's kind of wonky at the moment, but it's like it's weird. If it works, it works. Like you just press the button, press save video clip. Like
Yep.
okay, but this one's like since there's no button for saving clips, what is the other alternative option? There's none because you don't have Connect. Oh god. Unless you want to keep recording your footage on the tiny ass 500 gigabyte drive, like clips are just gonna keep piling up, and to go through those clips, like oh god, it's a hassle. Like I don't know, man, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. This thinking is like sort of half-assed at the moment because like sort of like what they did with when they did their first 180s, like oh we'll just do all these things. We don't know how they're gonna work at the moment, but we're doing them. And like, okay, for this one, they're doing the same exact thing. Oh yeah, we're just gonna remove Connect. So how is that gonna work? We'll just figure it out. Like, I don't know if they're thinking straight at the moment.
It's weird too, because like before they're like, well, you can't just flip a switch and undo all the stuff that we're gonna do. Oh, what do you know? It wasn't that hard. And it's like, oh, Connect is so central to our strategy and what we're doing with our console. And less than 12 months later.
Or maybe I'm guessing they're gonna include like you could just use Connect voice commands to your headset.
Mm,
That
that
would
could work.
be work. That would work for me. Like, man, I would just like unplug that shit. Like, fuck. Just use my headset all the time. Headset's wired anyway, so whatever. I wonder if they'll do that. I do wonder if that's their alternative method.
Which
Because
is
you know what?
funny, because that was
It
like
works for
an
Sony.
argument last gen of like, well, can't you just use the headset?
Yeah, like that works for PlayStation. So why wouldn't it work on the Xbox?
Because like that's the biggest problem with Connect. Like the voice commands are so simple. It's not compared to when you're using like a Samsung phone or you're using an iPhone with Siri. Like you just speak naturally, and it does know what you're saying, even if it's like weird. Like sometimes it's weird. What you're saying is like not conforming to whatever parameters they included in the system, but it understands you. Hopefully, I do hope at E3 they're going to introduce Cortana with their voice system, whatever it's called.
Mhm.
Do you know that Cortana?
Yeah,
It's
their
like
voice
their
assistant,
yeah. I hope if they
virtual
do
assistant.
introduce her into Xbox One, hopefully it will like you will see Xbox One start using more natural commands compared to Xbox. You know, it's like
Mm.
getting weird, getting kind of hard to find a word, but getting stupid. Saying Xbox for everything. Same thing with like in PlayStation, because like PlayStation's voice system is it's simplified. It's like you're only just doing certain commands, and
Yep.
hopefully Xbox gets more natural sounding, so you don't have to sound like an idiot just trying to do simple stuff. I do hope that's their strategy for E3, like introducing Cortana into the interface, like just make it more bearable to use.
Mm.
Like when you're oh man announcing a title to play, you can't just say Xbox I want to play Rise, and then it's gonna play Rise. You have to do Xbox play Son of Rise, Son of Rome. Like I don't know. It was like the same thing for 360, where it's like the Ubisoft game like Fitness. Oh, I want to play Fitness 2013. Blah blah blah. Like terrible. I want to sound natural when I'm playing with my system. Ah.
Mm.
Hey, but hey, it's
Well,
$400, right? $400. Can
I
you
mean,
believe
yeah, like
they were selling the
that.
system with Titanfall and a Connect for $100 more? That's crazy.
Yep.
Now they're gonna sell it just bare bones, nothing in it.
So, well, yeah, that's the big question. First of all, is the price cut? I mean, well, is it really a price cut? And then is it gonna do that much? I mean, there are analysts out there that saying, the one I just read was
Yeah.
they believe that in North America, the Xbox One was always destined to be ahead by 2016. But now that they cut the price, it's going to be ahead by 2015. And their reasoning was something like, oh, in the early going, it's all about price, and then later it's about software and offerings. And Xbox has the better software. I'm just like, I don't know about that one.
It's like I think that was a premature article, like right before E3. You have to wait for what they're
Who
gonna announce at
wrote
E3.
that? They should be fired.
Because like sure, Sony's output like at launch wasn't spectacular, but at least it was something compared to what we got with Xbox One. There was no, I don't think. Oh man,
I
I
think
did
with the
not.
lack of Watch Dogs, it just showed like there was a giant void of where's the awesome game that we want to launch.
Well, I mean, they only for their first party, it was only Forza.
Well, that too. And then it's gonna get even worse, man. That's my
Is
prediction.
it? I don't know.
I don't have
Like
faith,
the
gamer. Do not have faith. I mean,
part of
yeah,
me
there's they
says
showed Project Overdrive, but
Or
Sunset
Sunset
over there.
whatever it's called, that game, Insomniac.
That actually does seem kind of cool. Like I saw it, I was like, I do want to play this, but I don't know if I'm swayed by most of them. Like, so I actually I read this and was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for the podcast. So I jotted down some stuff, and basically, we've gotten to the point where in a way, it really is about just the games now, because in the beginning, I was arguing actively that no one should buy an Xbox One because it was very anti-consumer and just all these things. Like, if they're able to push these things through, then it is essentially the end of gaming as we know it. Like, it's going to be a very corporate sort of PR type thing, and it's not going to be the art form that many of us think it is. But then when they reversed on all that, then it was like, oh, it's fine. It still is not completely logical to buy an Xbox One, but if you have to if you have to play Dead Rising 3, or you really wanted to play Rise, like what choice did you have? But then now we PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold are kind of the same now. The prices are going to be kind of basically the same
Isn't I
by
think the
summer.
only difference is like gold is $10 more, and they don't let you
Oh
play
yeah,
free
that's
to
true.
play or some free to play MMOs outside paywall. But besides that,
Yeah. Besides that, like all that is sort of level now. So really, what sets the two apart? And my first impression was, yeah, it's about the games now. So who's
Yeah.
gonna have it doesn't even it's not even really like who has better games, it's who has more compelling games. And that really is gonna be a toss up. Like I have found, what I like is not what other people like for the most part.
to me, I feel like the momentum that PlayStation had from PS3 to PS4, and like Microsoft just sputtered out because they just had no games for that last year 360. It just is until they can show me like the opposite of that of like, oh, we have games up the wazoo. It's like I will not really care for them. So it's like whatever.
Because
Well,
I
like
mean,
the game thing initially, like that's what I thought. But actually, if you think about what has been happening recently, there is more to it than that. It's not just the games. I mean, first of all, when you're talking about just the games, one, yeah, it's the titles themselves, but two, there's also the power disparity thing. And it's, you know, Microsoft's going to have to figure out a way to spin that. Or maybe they don't. I don't know, because like on the PS3, all of us ended up liking the PS3 better, despite the fact that the Xbox 360 was still playing games like performance-wise, it worked better on the 360.
I think, but it was mostly due to like our friends are playing PS3, so we should just get the PS3 version. Not to mention the
Mm.
free online. I mean, that was like for me that was a big factor.
I guess that was true, yeah.
Um, but if like if our let's say our friends had been playing on 360 and we were buying games on 360, would we have still? That's still hypothetical, so I don't
I
know.
guess, yeah, it's hard to say. I don't think I personally have ever been sort of loyal to a single console. It's always been about the format, or actually for me, it's always been about like the story. So when people use their marketing stuff, like that works on me. I'm just like, yeah, like the story of the PlayStation 4 is why I have a PlayStation 4. It's like it's a very consistent story about a system built for developers and focused on gamers. And it's like that resonated really well for me. And PlayStation 3, it was also sort of, I don't know, what was the story? Just PlayStation in general has always been, games are more than just toys and playthings and things that you burn time with. Like there's something worthwhile there, and that has always resonated with me.
Well, they
Is
got
that
for PS3 though, they got pretty cocky when it first came out. It's like, oh, $600. Oh, this is Blu-ray. Even though Blu-ray at the time, like, was it 2006, 5, 6, 7?
yeah, 2006.
It was like barely off the floor, but it's like Blu-ray, ooh, 1080p. Like later was supposedly 1080p, but then later on it's like, oh, it's not 1080p.
It's
But
also not that good. Just saying.
they were like peacocks, like like wings spread open, like yeah, we're chest pumped. But then like, oh, 360 is kind of better because the online is better.
I kind of feel like it's just a return to the status quo of like Genesis does what Nintendo, and it's just the two warring
Yeah, it's
factions.
back to that, right?
That's pretty much all it is.
Because for me,
There's
it's
been
like
And I've already chosen my side, so it's like whatever, Microsoft, you can do whatever. I've already chosen. Sorry. It's like Ozymandias and Watchmen. I did it 10 months ago. Sorry.
Well, the thing about games is like, so even if they get past the power disparity thing, even if that doesn't matter, like there are things coming for PlayStation that Microsoft doesn't have an answer to yet. For example, PlayStation Now is not just this pie in the sky, ethereal thing. It's coming out in the summer. People are playing it now. It's supposed to launch with 100 some games. So, what does that mean for the PlayStation 4? That means that the PlayStation 4, in addition to the indie library, in addition to the first party library, also has this legacy first party library. And, we've been saying a lot, like, the best games right now are all on last gen systems. You're going to be able to play some of those on the PS4. You won't be able to do that on the Xbox One. In addition to that, you also have Project Morpheus. Lots of developers are already coming out saying, like Project Cars, they're saying this is going to be a project. We're going to support Project
Yeah.
Morpheus. What was that game that was just announced? The one where you play the 2-year-old? They're talking about doing that with Project Morpheus. So, there are things in the works for PlayStation. Like, that's why I think this announcement came out now and not at E3. Because can you imagine if this was their announcement at E3? Everyone had said, when asked about the big news from E3, is like, what was Microsoft big news? Like, well, they got the price drop and they
True.
moved the things outside of Xbox Live. Like, none of those things are leapfrogging PlayStation. All of those things are catching up to what PlayStation already is. So beyond that, you need more if you want to get ahead. And so if they do this now, then E3 can really be about the games, whatever they may be. But I don't know if they have, even if their games, I can't imagine, if it was easy to make good games, everyone would have good games. They can't just say, yeah, we're going to put a lot of money behind awesome software and we're just going to have better games. Like, you can't do that. If you could do that, everyone would do it and then we would just have awesome games. So, in a way, it still is about what makes the console itself different from the competitor. And I think PlayStation Now and Project Morpheus are things that PlayStation already has in the works. And Microsoft, everything, it goes back to what I keep saying, like, I don't feel like they have a vision anymore. They had a vision, no one bought into their vision, so now they're backtracking and they're going, okay, what do you want? And then they're doing what people want. But then people don't know what they want beyond a certain point. And so,
Flappy
if
Bird,
they
yeah.
decide,
I kind of love that's their vision. What do you want?
that's what it feels like now. Like, everyone was saying unbundle Connect, and like, no, we're not gonna do it. No, we're gonna not do it. And then April comes around, and they're like, oh man, March numbers, we did not beat PlayStation with Titanfall. We have nothing coming out soon.
Yeah, it's like
So
there's
what is
also
the next step?
that's the other thing about like Xbox One is like there's nothing on the horizon. Whereas like PlayStation, at least they know Order 1886, Drive Club, boom, there you go, in the fall. Two
Well, I
games.
mean, we poo-poo them, but I think they look at it and it's like Halo sells way more than everything on PlayStation, so that is a better brand. Gears of War sells way more than everything on PlayStation, so that is a better brand. So we have these two, and that means we have the better software. I think is their thinking.
Yeah, that is
But
true because third
really,
parties on everything. So
yeah, that is not pushing forward. That's maintaining the Xbox brand. Of course, you need Halo on Xbox. If you don't have it, then you have a problem. But if you have it, that's just expected. But yeah, like, they can't get into cloud, streaming stuff out of the blue. It takes time to develop these things. And if they haven't done it already, then they're behind. VR is another thing. Like, if they haven't done it already, they're behind. And, maybe they're waiting to see if it's going to be a success. It's like, well, if you wait and it turns out to be a success, then you're behind already.
Oh, you're basically just be the PS Move. Like, you're just late to the
Yeah.
party.
It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do that also. And then, that doesn't generate excitement, I think, among the hardcore enthusiasts and journalists. And yeah, I think the salespeople at Best Buy or whatever, if they're knowledgeable, then they're like, yeah, the PlayStation does all this stuff, and Xbox maybe someday will do it too. So yeah, initially I thought it was gonna be all about the games, and it still is to me, but I think there's other things at play. Like, the hardware is still important. Uh, Inherent features of the PlayStation versus the Xbox One are still important. And so,
I would say
a
also
lot of
like the legacy of PlayStation Plus because that's another reason why I'm dropping live when it runs out. Is like I'm already entrenched with like I have all these games on Plus.
so many
I don't need to like have a second tier of I have a online service where I get free games. It's like I already have a ton of free games on Plus. Why would I care to like start over with that with live? It's like sorry, dude.
Yeah, and they're still giving out the same free game, like Street Fighter 4 Ultra Edition, Arcade Edition. They gave that like a while ago on PS Plus.
A long while ago.
And the flash sales, like, come on.
Well, they did up the ante. They're giving
Yeah,
out
they
what,
said that.
two retail games on 360 and one digital, not digital. What do you call it? Downloadable game
Yep.
instead of the current PlayStation where it's like one per system, right? Is it one per system? Oh no,
PlayStation?
yeah, per month. One for PS4, one for PS3.
PS4.
Oh no,
I
for
don't
PS3
want
it's like
PS3.
it's more,
It's
right?
separate. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
bunch. There are essentially, I think it's 19 games at any given point are
Free
available
game
on
collection.
PlayStation Plus. Yeah,
And oh man. Well, it's different at the moment. So
yeah.
who knows if
After
Halo
they
sparked
turn their
the
ship
souls.
around, after they pull their 180, they have to catch up, gamer. I'm sorry. It takes a
That's so-
while.
just it just feels
Like-
weird with the systems being so not one to one, but like very close to each other. It's like, man, that's crazy how close. Like services wise, they're on point to each other. Hardware, it's sure Xbox One's a bit lower, but it's still playable.
Right.
It's like, what's the use of what's the use of like the only reason why you would keep both systems is because one system has these games and the other one has these games, and that's the only way you can play them all.
Yep.
Gotta catch them all.
Well, which I think if we were talking about later in the cycle, then a price cut would matter because then people who have PlayStation 4s would be like, okay, now I'm gonna buy Xbox One to play those games that aren't on PlayStation. But at this point, it feels like if you know enough about both of them, there still doesn't seem to be a compelling reason to get Xbox One over the PlayStation 4. And then like going into E3, oh man, this year's E3 is going to be so cool because
It's like an early skirmish in the console war of like who is winning with the games.
I can't imagine what Microsoft has.
They have to show something new, Trapper. They have to. They can't just show the same drivel, like over and over again. Like, Call of Duty, Call of Duty. We're just gonna show gameplay. Oh, in the Mask of Time or something bullshit. And then we're gonna show Halo. We're gonna show Gears. God, it's like the same shit over and over again. Just I'd rather they just show what's that dumb game that create your own fantasy world, whatever. What's it called?
Project Spark.
Project Spark, like something like that. Even though it was a copy of Liberty Planet, but that type of game, even though it's kind of it's kind of different because like you could actually make your own game inside it, but that type of different, like from all the shooter and the same crap from last gens, like do something else. Like that's why I like PlayStation 3 because they had like games like Heavy Rain, they had like Puppeteer, they had like all these games from different genres, not just shooter. Because that's all you got when you're in 360. That's all you got.
Yep.
I think
Well,
I look
so
at my library. It's like half of it's just like, wow.
So the question is like, for us, I mean, obviously it's faster with us because we play more games. But how long did it take us to get tired of shooters?
Oh, dude.
Was it a few years?
Modern Warfare 3 was when it killed it for me. It was probably like a bit before that though, because like I think I was already tired of it. I was like, oh well, this is my last one.
I remember you were tired of them before that. But so you played Modern Warfare 1 though, right?
Yeah.
Did you play Call of Duty 2?
I bought it later on for cheap on 360.
Okay.
So yeah, I did play it. But I played it after 4.
So still, like several years passed by before we were totally burned out on shooters.
Well,
I'm
I'm not burnt out.
not,
I'm just
not like burned out. It's just like you start to look for other stuff,
Well, the thing
basically.
is like you
Yeah.
have games like Heavy Rain and Walking Dead that like just present these nuanced ways of telling narrative, and it's like you have the storyline side of like games and like where they're headed, and you have the gameplay side, and it's like first-person shooters after you've played so many, it's just they're all the same, which is where I'm at right now. It's like I just don't really care unless they're doing something super awesome or they hit that sweet spot like Borderlands 2 does. Like I will keep coming back to that game of just kill something, loot, level up, kill something, loot, level up. That magical Ouroboros that you can never get tired of riding. Just so good. Which is why I'm pumped for Destiny. Yeah.
So yeah, I wonder like how long it's a I think it's a weird situation for Microsoft because I don't like I think they want to make hits. You know, that's they're still it still feels very much like they're not really into it for games. They're into it for what it can get Microsoft. And so they want to make hits. And have they always been like that? It's always been shooters for them, right? And in the time that it's been shooters for Xbox, it's been sort of the era of shooters for games.
Like the only game I could think of is like Viva Pinata.
Yeah.
I
Um,
mean, they had their at the time, like for a certain number of years, like 2 years, they had a great downloadable section. Like they had Limbo, they had Braid. You know, it was
Oh yeah,
different.
that was a good time.
And then they just completely went off the rails and just said, you know, we. It doesn't seem like it was working out for them or something. Then just
hmm.
went back to shooters.
Yeah, 'cause Xbox Arcade was like killing it for a while because they had that one game first that you're on the boat with the lady with the I can't remember what it's called.
You're on the boat with the lady.
Let me get my controller and look at my things. My PS3 is on. But
I can't.
Hydrophobia, that one. I was like, oh,
Oh.
that's a pretty cool game. And just like small, like, and even like what's that? It's not by Epic, but I think they published it. It was like downloadable, and it was like Metroidvania style.
Oh, Shadow Complex.
Yes, that one. I love that
Yep.
game. Yeah, like stuff like
Mm.
that, man. Like their Xbox arcade stuff was pretty good.
Yeah, that's what interested me in like for 360 for a while before I got I went on PS3. But after that, after I think it was after that year of Shadow Complex, where it's like they just like didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Huh. That's true. Like the Summer of Arcade was never
Not as good as
a
that
big thing.
year.
Yeah,
Was
that
it?
year.
Yeah, that was that the same year as Limbo came. No, Limbo, or was it Limbo? I don't know. But it was like that year was like mega hit after mega hit of each week. I was like, oh my god, yeah.
And for me, like they also had like the really just rare, crazy Japanesey stuff, like that I'm forgetting the name again, Radiant Silvergun, and that other one I can't think of. Just like stuff like that they
Ikaruga,
brought over. Not Ikaruga. It's like a side scroller with RPG elements. I can't think of the name right now.
Castle Crashers.
No, it's a Japanese game. It's by Japanese people.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I do think I do hope that they're going back to that type of
The
creative
gamer, they want to make
outlet.
hits. Those games don't sell.
Yeah, see, like I wonder how you get back to that though. Because back in the, like they didn't make those any of those games. They
Yeah.
just supported them or gave them a platform. But now there are so many different platforms for those people to go on.
Uh,
And, Microsoft has built this reputation of being not the platform you want to be on
Yeah, and
if
like,
you're indie.
and Sony has like embraced those games like Flower and Journey
Yeah.
and
Like
stuff like that.
Microsoft even right now, and they got on the indie train late sort of this time where they were just like, "Oh yeah, we have an indie program too, but not talking about it yet at E3." When, in contrast to PlayStation's like, here are these indie games that are going to be on PlayStation 4 and they're all on stage and there was that really awesome setup. And I was just like, "Oh, this is so cool." I mean, even this week, I've been sort of keeping score. It's like, yeah, PlayStation announced 12 indie games. Then Call of Duty was announced as having the same DLC deal on Xbox One, and then they showed off Sunset Overdrive, and then they announced this price drop thing. And all the while, like just today, PlayStation announced or sort of gave updates on 8 of the indie games that were announced last year. And like they PlayStation is just talking games this whole time, and they're new games, and they're all different games. Murasaki Baby is something you've never seen before. Big Fest is something you've never seen before. The Witness is looks like it's almost done, so that's really exciting. Man, what is that game? The one where you play the 2-year-old. That was just announced for PlayStation today. I'm sorry, yesterday. Nuclear Throne. N++ gave an update. Switch Galaxy Ultra. Just, the list goes on and on for PlayStation updates on just games right now. They're not dealing with any of this, oh, people hate our system, they think it's too expensive, they think part of it is worthless, blah, 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 blah. It really is the vision that they gave us February of last year. Whereas, like, this is about, we made this for gamers. And, yeah, that, Among the Sleep, that's what it's called. Among the Sleep. Yeah, it's crazy. They're just announcing game after game after game after game after game.
And then, like, to me, it's like
system.
when like they showed the whole like we talked about it last week, the Drive Club thing. But then there's like that PR kerfuffle about, oh well, we're not too sure. But then like they corrected it as like, if that was Microsoft, I'm not sure that would have went down like that. Where it's like,
Yeah.
oh well, it only took us the next day everything's cool and fixed. But yeah.
It's just, yeah, like Microsoft. Someone wrote it somewhere, like they describe Microsoft as being very PR driven, and it's like, yeah, that is what I've been trying to say about Major Nelson being like, it's like your dad telling you that something is cool. They are a very PR driven company. Like everything that comes out of them is very PR ish. Just compare Xbox Wire to PlayStation Blog. Like PlayStation, even the name, like PlayStation Blog is very sort of casual, and when you go on there, it's creators for the most part talking about their own games. It's Sid Schumann, who seems very approachable, talking about his experience with these games. Xbox Wire, you look at it as like, oh, who wrote this one? And it's written by Xbox Wire staff, and it's just like, okay. That the communication parts of these two sides just are very different to me. After the price drop, lots of people have been talking like, okay, now what does PlayStation need to do? Like, PlayStation has to respond.
No,
Like,
they don't.
yeah, to me, I was like, if I'm PlayStation, I do nothing. I stick to the original game plan. Keep talking about games, announcing enhancement to the system, launching those games, launch PlayStation Now, improve it, repeat, and then, later launch Morpheus, improve that, repeat, and just keep doing what they're doing, because it's working, and that is the thing that has appealed to me.
Yep.
Do we have anything else to say about that?
Take a swig of that water. Man. Whew.
Also, I think another thing was like why they announced the. I think it's very similar to like what they did last year when they announced the whole TVD sports before E3. It was like so they could take a beating and like thinking people would forget before E3 of like, oh dude, they didn't even talk about that many games when they announced the console. It's like now they can just like talk about, oh, we totally don't need Kinect, even though we totally had it completely central to when what our idea for our console was when we unveiled it. It's like it's gonna be a whole month of like people not forgetting, and then we're gonna get to E3 and it's just they just like made their. I guess they didn't make it worse, because if they did show it at E3, it would have been like overshadowing a lot of stuff that they would have shown. Yeah. So in that regard, it was a good call, but they've kind of already ripped off the band-aid and they're bleeding out.
So what do you like beyond sort of the menu issue and all that, and possibly using just the headset for voice commands? Like, what do you think happens to Kinect at this point?
It's so weird because like they're gonna do something VR related.
Now game development could be like severely crippled. Like who?
That's the other thing. It's like it
what
turns
turns
Kinect back into like the ghetto that it was last gen. It's like it was like, to me, I was disappointed because I wanted like some awesome, fitness Trainer yelling at me game, or we always have that like what Dream Connect game that we did that they had just that the one I keep calling it because it doesn't exist, or just like Xbox. I mean, so it's like there's like that game that will probably not materialize, and then it's just the people that were working on those games. It's like they blow to them like harmonics of like people that like if it was included with the system, there would have been that many people that might have been more inclined to buy it, but not so much anymore. So.
Yeah, it's. I guess I didn't look at that point of view until I saw, someone from Harmonix tweet, and they were like, "Great,
Yeah.
super."
Oh,
great.
really?
It was just like, oh man, and like people were wondering, it's like, did they tell you guys that this was gonna happen? And they didn't respond. So, but yeah, it sucks. I think Crazy Horse, is that or Spicy Horse, the developers who made Octodad. They tweeted, I was like, well, we were originally interested in making a Connect game.
Wow.
And yeah, like I don't know how this happened. Like everyone,
See,
we
it's
have
so
this
weird because
weird
it's like so weird because like this gen was supposed to be like Connect's time to shine if it's so central and integral to the system. But then like when you take it away, it's like, oh, it's still a joke. So it's like it becomes what it was in the past, which was nothing. And then that like in that regard, they shot themselves in the foot. But people don't like Connect anyway, except for dance and fitness games. So, which I'm sure we'll see more of at E3.
It's crazy. We have this weird paradox where if you ask anyone, it's like, true or false, does software sell hardware? They would say true, and yet, if no one has Connect, you can't make a successful Connect game, and which implies that hardware sells software. And so, obviously they both can't be true at the same time. So, yeah, it's a strange thing. Like Harmonix, they above anyone else should know if you make a good enough game, people will buy whatever plastic crap you want them to buy. And yet, I guess there is sort of that risk factor, though. It's like, well, if not everyone has it, our potential audience is smaller. But it's like, if it's good enough, so are they basically saying that, Disney Fantasia is not good enough to sell Connects? They're just making it 'cause?
I wouldn't say necessarily so.
Mm.
I mean, even if you look at the stat they put out of like over 80% of the users that have a Connect use it, so not all people that have Connect use it because all Xbox Ones come with Connect. So there you go.
I would argue that not even gamers really using
it. Or it's like asterisk not used to play a game, only used to navigate menus and turn on the console and record
like
things.
Yeah, you can't access certain settings apparently.
Well, it's like it's useless when you're using Netflix because in the script because like it's kind of weird when I don't know if you because you've never seen this, but when you use Connect, green text goes all over the place of what you could say to activate that spot.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're Netflix, the same green stuff goes all over everything, but it doesn't say the movie titles. It says like selection 1, selection 2, selection 3. So you have to say Xbox, play selection 3. Play whatever's underneath underneath the title, whatever.
Right.
You can't just say, "Oh, Xbox, play House of Cards, season 1, episode 1." You can't just say that. You have to say Netflix, play selection 1, select 1. Select 1.
Is it really all that robotic? Because like when they demonstrated it at their TV Sports event, like you could say lots of different things and they all worked, and it seemed sort of natural.
For me, I have to sound robotic just to make it hear me. I have to
so
be
it's
like,
just not possibly just
I think
not
it was
good enough.
It was on my Xbox One stream where I was like, Xbox, record that. It wouldn't even like
Oh, yeah,
respond.
remember
Like,
that.
Xbox, record that. Xbox, record that. And then I was finally record that when I say Xbox, record that. Then I never record. Like, oh
Man.
god. But oh man, I don't know. They have to implement Cortana. That's like the only solution that would solve their problems with that thing.
See, what's weird is like on PlayStation, you don't even have to say the entire title name of a game. I
Yeah,
can say play Call of Duty and it work, or PlayStation Call of Duty and it takes me to the right one. I could say Ghosts and it would take me to the
I
right
do
one.
wonder when you have multiple uh, Call of Duty titles on there, which one
Mm.
you would pick? That
You'll
would
probably
be
go to
interesting
the
to see.
first one, and then you gotta jump to the next one.
Yeah. You know, it's like when you said, "Oh, what can PlayStation do?" Oh, they could just do whatever they're doing right now. But for me, it's like PlayStation. What they could do, uh, announce a controller that doesn't die in one day.
Oh yeah,
Or
Japan
Better
was
just
back
like, he's like, you
technology.
need to have a wired controller on his Twitter feed. I saw that.
no, I need
I thought that was
wireless.
so weird.
It lasts for 50
I was like,
hours.
wireless, really? It's funny though, because I use my wireless. Well, that's a different reason with my 360, but yeah.
Or just announce the Last Guardian, drop the mic. Like,
I think that's what's gonna happen here. I think there will be mics getting dropped at E3.
They don't even have to drop mics at this
Megatons.
point. I mean, at this point,
But
it's like,
RPG, you gotta embarrass them. You gotta humiliate them. You gotta be like, you know what? We
you
just
mean
pulled,
more than they have already done to
yeah,
themselves? Because it's like,
yeah, you're gonna be like, you know, we just made you look like Sega. Oh, and just like walk off stage.
It is pretty crazy, like
well, no,
the
because Sega
amount
still
of
just had a first
embarrassment
party.
at this
So,
point is insane because everything was, oh no, we can't just do that. This was our vision, or this is our vision, and then it became that was our vision, but it's about choices. And so we lost Always Online, we lost Always On DRM, and now we lost Connect, and it's just like there have been countless articles about why Connect is good from fans, defending their console. And now it's just like
Microsoft is
not
basically
only
like,
does
haha,
Microsoft
JK.
have egg on their face, they threw eggs on everyone's faces who were on their side.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like their biggest fans are the ones who they screwed over the most with that.
Yeah, it's just that everyone who defended it, you were all wrong. In fact,
At the
it is
same
more
time,
important for
though-
us to sell more consoles.
At the same time, though, people who went out, the early adopters probably should have known it was going to happen anyway. I don't know why they were so big on the Kinect hype train to begin with. 'Cause it's like
Well,
we've been calling it for like months now.
But
that
RPG,
they're
it can
gonna come out
scan
with
your
the next
skeleton and muscle mass
Yeah,
and see you
I
in the
think
dark.
creepy is a selling point.
when you're a fan, you believe the people who you're a fan of. So when they say that
Oh.
Kinect cannot be removed, then you're like, well,
But who?
Kinect
but I mean-
can't be removed. So here's why it's the best thing ever,
Nah,
and
we all knew
why
that was-
everyone has to have one.
not to
Nah,
mention,
and-
was it one of the points was like Connect was supposed to be plugged in for it to work?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
originally it
took
was
that
like,
out too.
you can't
So-
unplug it. I was like,
It was
oh,
all
okay,
lies.
you don't plug it.
And we all knew it was gonna come because I mean, it's like
That was
at
kind of
100.
bad luck. The NSA thing, if that had not happened, I don't know if people would have cared quite as much. Some people, I mean, already cared, but a lot of people would have been like, huh, whatever, I'll be able to turn my Xbox on whenever with just my voice. It will be so cool.
Except it won't work half the time. So the joke would have been on them. So
Oh, and the only thing you can't do without Connect, you can't do Xbox on.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
then what's the point? So that means you still have to go up there and turn it on yourself.
No, you could use a controller. Just pressing the guide button.
Well, then
Well,
what's the
after
point,
they
gamer?
Xbox
If you already
on-
have the controller, you might as well just use the controller to control everything.
Because no, like for some situations where it's like you just enter the room, Xbox on. You don't have the controller yet. You're just getting ready.
But if it doesn't work like
Or you
that,
just want to watch
then-
movies or.
Yeah.
TV or sports.
Or you have your like if you have your spouse or kids, like they just want to use the system because like I think that was one of the things they're going to introduce in a patch where it's going to default to the TV when you turn it on for them. That's why I think that's one of the patch notes.
Oh, okay.
It's coming.
Yeah, because it's like, it can be convenient, but I don't think it made sense value-wise. Like, if I really wanted to be able to control, like, yeah, it goes back to the whole TV thing. That made no sense whatsoever. Everyone is, not everyone, okay, but a larger and larger percentage of people are cutting the cord, and they introduce a console in 2013 that is integrally tied to the cord that everyone is cutting. Just like, this makes no sense to me. I mean, voice control, that makes sense to me. When I was washing the dishes and, I didn't want to get soap on my controllers, I could just say, play next episode or something. I forget what it was on the 360. And, it would go to the next episode of Netflix. That was really cool. And it worked well, but TV, why is TV such a big part of your console? And everyone was like, oh, it's because they want to control the living rooms. Like, why do you care what they want? Why do you want to help them get what they want? They want to control your living room. And what do you get out of that? It was a strange defense.
Yeah, I did.
Wait, did they
defense? I just forgot what it was.
They introduced Netflix commands with a new firmware, right? For Netflix on PS4.
I don't think so. I think you can launch Netflix now, but you
Oh,
couldn't do
just
it.
launch it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
I think a lot more work has to go into. I think a lot more work that is not going to happen is going to have to go into the PlayStation in order to make it totally voice controlled. But I don't really see the need. Like, Netflix is pretty much, it's.
Press a button here, press a button there.
Yeah, it sort of works, The only part of the PlayStation menu that is sort of messed up is that everything is organized in the order that you last accessed it. So if you're looking for something in your apps on the PlayStation 4, sometimes you gotta scroll a ways and you gotta look at each one's like, nope. Oh, this one. Or, this is where voice control comes in. You just say the name of it and it'll take you to that one. So, as far as that does enhance the functionality. I don't know. I guess Netflix, it would be nice for when I'm washing the dishes. But I'm planning on doing that less. So I wouldn't need it. Or at least with my hands. I'm going to still wash dishes. Anyway.
Well, that's probably a good thing. I mean, I don't want those to pile up.
Yeah. This is only the road to E3,
I know, right?
people.
It's like it's only gonna get hotter.
I'm sitting here, it's like, oh my gosh, PlayStation is announcing a lot of stuff these days. What are they going to announce at E3? I mean, it's gotta be the AAA stuff, right? And Drive Club is not one of those anymore because, you don't want to be like Watch Dogs. I think Watch Dogs is releasing May 27th because that is the latest they can possibly launch. Because if they launch after E3,
yeah, nobody's gonna
how
care.
many it's like, how many E3s have we seen Watch Dogs? If they launched after E3, it's like, well, yeah, Watch Dogs is out tomorrow, but did you see that thing we saw yesterday? I just want to be playing those things now, and I would just be, my standards will have changed. Watch Dogs will get lower reviews because of the future we have been shown in the past 72 hours. So yeah, Watch Dogs has to release before E3. Otherwise, it's just like, yep, this 4-year-old game now. We first saw many E3s ago.
People still played Last of Us when it came out that Friday last year.
Yeah, but we hadn't seen it as much as we had with Watch Dogs. I think Watch Dogs, like, it's been so long that there was like a fever point in the hype that is past. And it would only be further down if they released after E3.
Only 2 years after they first showed it.
Is it only 2 years?
Yeah, 2012 is when they first showed that
that first one
concept footage.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Man, it seems like so long because like so much stuff has happened. new consoles have come out since
Yeah.
then. New consoles have been announced
I'm
and
guessing
released.
it's probably
since
also
then.
always been in the press since the whole delay thing. It was like, oh, it's coming out. Oh, not anymore. Just keep waiting.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but that latest trailer got me hyped.
Yeah, I'm pretty
It
excited.
doesn't take much to get you hyped.
It
Cameron.
got
It's not
me
really,
hyped.
it's
They
not
should.
really a
They added like.
surprise.
It's weird because like I think it's like they are adding a bunch of modes in this game. It seems like that's what they added in the
Yeah,
6
I
months
got the
delay.
feeling too. Actually, I felt kind of bad about all the stuff I said about the delay. I
The
was like,
quote,
well,
the
they did
quote
add
unquote
a lot of stuff here.
apps. It's like what? This, but it's weird because it makes no sense. It's like I'm shooting 8-bit. I'm doing parkour with 8-bit icons. Like that is the weirdest thing. But yeah, whatever.
And I always like
Yeah.
poo-pooed on it of like, well, we haven't seen car shit in this game, and there's like this whole section on driving. I was like, oh, well, I'll shut up now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty exciting, but after E3,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. it's
Especially
gonna
if they
be
drop some
exciting.
bombs.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Gamer, it's E3.
It is perhaps the biggest E3 since last year.
I'd say it's the biggest E3 in 10 years.
Yeah, because like last E3, we knew it was going to be big, but this year, the stakes are so much higher, and we knew, like, I think going into E3 last year, we sort of knew that Xbox was sort of in trouble. It's like everyone was like, "Oh, are they going to address all these things from their TV sports thing?" And they did not. And PlayStation just steamrolled them. It's like, in hindsight, I think it was pretty obvious that that was going to happen. But this year, it's hard to say. All those execs are gone. New execs are, doing actually on both sides. Like it's new execs. I think the vision is still the same at PlayStation, but we don't know what the vision is at Xbox right now.
Yeah, well, at least they still have like that Phil Spencer dude who seems okay, even though he's a smug face.
Yeah, the smirk.
But here's hoping, man. Oh god, man. Oh man, this E3 is gonna be so good.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
we'll get there. We'll get there. We're almost there. I actually put in my vacation request last on Monday. So
Are you guys gonna have a stream up? You
Oh,
guys
man.
talking about it?
I don't know.
Like during the press conferences, we're pretty quiet, so I think that would be boring. Because
Oh, okay.
like last year we were on Skype and we were on Hangout.
I don't think we were
Like-
streaming though at the time because we were having
Yeah.
trouble with the Hangout itself.
We weren't
Okay.
streaming. But we were on Hangout and we were just all sitting
yeah,
there.
we should
sort of
totally.
quiet.
Yeah.
Until something like exciting happened, and then it's like, oh my gosh!
Yeah,
But
I guess it would be cool actually to do a hangout, just have a bunch of people. But man, we barely said anything during, and then after it was like,
Yeah.
oh man. Yeah, I guess part of the news is like the schedule was set. It is basically the same as it is every year. Microsoft in the morning,
Party
then
of the
EA.
night.
It
PlayStation.
would be
Was Sony that late last year?
It was
I
kind
think so. Yeah, it was dark
Oh.
already. I remember when I was
They
watching
just because I remember it had just been like uploaded when I got home from work last year, and it was like already nighttime. So
Oh damn! Did not know.
So it's like that whole Monday is E3 stream day. And then really like, well, it's hard to tell because in the past the next few days have been kind of boring.
Yeah.
You watch them do stage shows of certain games, but they're just like last year there
don't
weren't
care.
really that many. Like a lot of the stage shows were the same on every single stage, so that
Yeah.
was kind of boring. And it's like there just didn't seem to be that many games. But this year it feels like there may be a ton of games. And yeah, it comes down to the fact that it's gonna be about the games, like who has the better exclusives. And
Sony will.
both sides, they want to show that they got better exclusives.
Well, Microsoft doesn't have a first party, so I mean, you can already count out half their exclusives, and I mean, their money can only get them so far this time, especially with not being in first place this time around. So
I saw an article recently, again, like what should Sony do to respond? And one of their suggestions was Sony should ally themselves with high-profile third-party properties. And well, I mean, I
Which
guess the biggest one out there is the Call of Duty thing on Xbox One. And I guess Titanfall was also a big thing, but it never feels like that's Sony's way, and I think it's because they don't have the money to throw around.
well, they are aligning themselves with Watch Dogs and Destiny.
That's true.
Watch Dogs. Yeah.
I guess like simple things they could do is just make development easy on the platforms, and that would encourage developers to use things like the touchpad and the light bar and things that are intrinsically part of the system.
Well, I mean, that stuff can come later. I mean, the console is still relatively new, so it's like people have plenty of time to like experiment and stuff. Because, like, I mean, they've already been saying that it is easier to develop for the PS4 than the PS3 was. So, I mean,
But that's not hard.
well, I mean, still, they're trying. So, maybe you'll get those games during this E3 or something, or next E3, or at some E3 in the future, eventually. But yeah,
Really exciting.
or is it?
Okay, so I guess we can come back after this with RPG with what we've been playing in any other news, and wrap it here unless anybody else has anything to add about the Xbox One 80 disconnection.
I like that. Disconnect.
we knew
I stole it from a Wired article.
Oh,
Aw.
you didn't have to say that. You didn't even have to say that.
I was like, why didn't I think about that when I read it? But then it's funny because on Twitter we were tweeting about this, and then Mr. Dragon put something about Xbone, and I was like, oh, well, I would never thought about that either. That's so terrible. And I put that. Just add one letter. I'm not gonna say which one it is, but I'm sure you do. And I was like, wow, kids these days.
He said
You don't have
X-Boner.
to add a letter.
That's-
Oh, I see.
Just in case you were trying to figure it out there. You're welcome.
Alrighty, we'll be back after this with whatever RPG's been playing and any other new
Or
stuff.
will we?
Or will we?
Like to keep the people in suspense.
What have you been playing RPG?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, well, that makes it easy.
Except for that one Kirby game.
Oh, well.
That game is awesome. That's it.
Kirby.
Have any of you guys picked up Child of Light? Is that the name of that?
I'm waiting until I get my PS4, so you know.
I picked it up.
And
I was thinking about getting it on PC. I was like, that would be breaking my rule, and B, no share button. So, you know.
I tried the
Choices.
demo, and the demo starts in like chapter 4 or
4?
something.
Yeah, because
And I was just like, I don't know what's going on.
because it did
This
just
is
like
a
come up-
terrible demo.
The battles like similar to the Grandia games, though.
Yay,
I noticed,
Grandia.
except without the positioning thing. So there's that at least. But yeah, that probably was an awkward place to start a demo. Like
Yeah,
possibly
really-
halfway through your game. It's like, oh, I don't know how to control anything or where I am or anything.
sort of easier now, so it's just like, oh, there's no voice acting. And they're speaking in rhyme, which is hard to read. Like, it's easier to listen to than it is to read rhyme, I think.
Are they speaking in rhyme? Was that
They
what was
were,
happening? Ah,
but it was like
Dude,
two
a lot
different
of
people, and
I was
like the
only like
different colors denoted who was saying what, and I was like, God, it's not even one person rhyming, it's another person rhyming with the other
It's another
person. It's like,
person.
I don't know
Yeah, 'cause
what
I
you're
only,
saying.
only like
It's weird,
half
huh?
paid attention to it because I was like playing and I was like, there's no voice acting. I'm not reading this, so I just like I was only like half paying attention, so I kind of didn't realize they were rhyming. So
a lot of people hate that rhyming. They hate it. They say it gets kind of tiring.
I would think I would think so. Like it's like you can only read so many rhymes before it's like, okay, we get it. Everyone's speaking in rhyme now. We can stop this now. So
Yeah,
That's
it's a good game.
Tell me
looks
when
pretty
you're.
nice.
See, look, that type of game should be coming out on Xbox One.
But that type of game's already out now on the PC and the PS3 and the PS4.
I was gonna say,
Yep.
tell me when you're ready, RPG, and I'll push the button. Because I'm on my
For
other
what?
computer, so Pamela's actually working right now.
Oh my god!
So we're actually in between segments, even though we're still streaming.
Push it,
I
push
don't.
it.
I don't
Wait,
feel like
did someone
talking
just say
about
push
that
it?
playing.
What?
Yeah,
Push it,
Gamer
push
did. He
it.
said
Oh.
push it.
I was
Push your red button.
I was like, was it
Push that
RPG?
button again. Push that button again.
Are you ready, RPG?
Never.
Okay, I'll just push the button, whatever.
This call is
Oh, I
being
heard her.
recorded.
Yay.
It might be.
Alright, and we're back. What you been playing, RPG?
Nothing. I think Tekken's just trying to get me to talk about stuff that didn't happen. So yeah, joke's on him. Yeah. And that's it. You're
Oh,
welcome.
well, in that case, we can just go into the news.
Yes, let's
Mm.
do that. Also, Kirby's still awesome though. So there's that. So Nintendo isn't dead. They could be.
So what's the news?
Is there anything else that happened besides this Microsoft thing? 'Cause I can't really think of anything else.
Well, it seems like
There's
there
that
was a lot
Nintendo.
of
There's that Nintendo
financial
thing. Yeah,
announcements.
there's like a bunch of. There's like it was weird because it was like Rockstar made like way more, or like no, I'm okay. That's hyperbole, but it was so weird because like last week it was like, well, Nintendo lost $500 million, and then like this week it's like, oh, Rockstar made $2 billion. It's like what? like lots of money just changing hands in the game industry. And there's like
Crazy.
a earnings report for Sony, but I think it was like the gaming division was doing good, but the company was doing terrible. So
Oh
Yeah,
no.
they're still losing millions and millions of dollars. Or not losing, but like reporting losses.
Like the
So-
only division that's doing well is like their financial division, financial services.
That's funny.
Like I didn't know Sony did financial services. That's crazy.
diversify,
Sony does
gamer.
everything.
Diversify.
Wait,
they,
what is
they
it?
only do everything.
Who does? What Japanese company does like pachinko machines or something? That's why it's
I
keeping
think
them
it's
afloat.
Sega.
Sammy.
Oh,
Yeah, Sammy.
Yeah, which is Sega, right?
Yeah.
I think it's Sega. Yeah.
Well, they're owned by Sammy though.
Sega, you suck.
Hey, 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 hey! There'll be none of that.
Actually, there's something about a version of Diablo 3 that's going to come out with, I guess, everything in it or something. Because I saw that, I was like,
yeah.
good thing I haven't bought it yet.
Ultimate
Were you
Evil
planning on buying
Edition
it
comes
before?
out August 9th or 19th, I believe.
Oh,
Finally confirmed on platforms. So originally it was announced for PS4. They weren't sure about any other versions, although apparently they had made them all, but there was some, like, the business part had not come through. So, but I guess it did, so it's also coming out on Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PS3 what version was confirmed as well. So that's going to include basically everything
Ooh, just kidding.
in the Reaper of Souls expansion pack, plus some new stuff, which I can't remember. Yay, doing the news good.
No.
There was a was it this week or last week the Kickstarter for Amplitude?
I think it was last.
Yeah, I would like to say that it seems like it might not make it. There's only 8 days left. They are 230,000, I think, of
Yeah.
their 775,000 goal. With 8 days left, and it just seems like it's sort of like remember there was going to be a spiritual successor to Eternal Darkness,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and
How'd that work
you
out?
know, you would think that a game like that would be like, oh my gosh, everyone wants this. Yes, let's do it. And you know, the Kickstarter just did not go as planned. Well, for them. And Amplitude is kind of seeming like that too.
Maybe everybody's
I
just
think
waiting until the
in-
last second.
Well, Tekken, have you backed?
Yep.
He has. It was like all
Okay.
over Twitter when he did.
I've been trying to promote it. In fact, like the day that Connect was disconnected, Harmonix was like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. It's like, well, back our Amplitude Kickstarter because we need some good news today. But yeah, like the Eternal Darkness one, I think was partially because Silicon Knights or the spin-off company. I don't know that people had a lot of faith in them. So maybe that's why that one fell through. With Amplitude, there seems to be a lot of backlash that it's on Kickstarter. There's a lot of people who are just like, why is this on Kickstarter? Don't you guys have, gobs and gobs of Rock Band money?
That's a good point, though.
Well, not to mention 775,000.
Yeah, I looked at that. I was like, that's a lot of money, dude. I'm not upping my pledge. I'm like, sorry, dude. This is all you're getting.
And they're not doing any licensed songs. It seems it seems like it's just original music at the moment.
Yeah, they're in-house composing. Well,
So-
I guess the thing is, I'm not sure. And people who don't make games, like we don't really
Yeah.
know how games are costed. But apparently, the amount that they're asking for in the Kickstarter is less than half of the total budget for the project. So the rest of it is going to come out of their pockets, and they don't have Rock Band money. Like most of that money went to.
Yeah.
Well, at the time they were Viacom.
Oh, dude, MTV. That sucks.
There was
Didn't
that
I was about
big
to say.
thing where they had to sue, and there was lots of stuff going on. The money went to the investors.
Oh shit!
Those
Wait, are
damn
they public?
investors.
No, no, it was
Because
just like
they bought back their shares, didn't they?
yeah. Eventually,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So basically, the money Harmonix doesn't have money.
Oh.
The people who invested in Harmonix have a lot of money, but they're not part of the company
It's kind of funny if you
anymore.
think about it. Because without said investors is why they're probably on Kickstarter now in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently, the
Yeah,
other part of it,
capitalism.
Amplitude belongs to Sony Computer Entertainment, and I guess it didn't do that well in 2003, so they can't justify investing. So the agreement that they worked out was that if Harmonix can find the means, and prove that there's interest, then they can go ahead and make it. So that's what the Kickstarter is, and man, I really hope it gets made. Like, it looks like it could be really awesome.
Yeah, it's funny because like I was going to stream it, and then I already saw Harmonix streamed it. I was like, oh well, I guess I don't need to. If the people that made it were like way more awesome playing the game than me. So. No, Jeff. Look, there's like actual some more news. I'm trying to find it because like Nintendo made all these crazy announcements after we went off the air last week about like.
Did they?
Because like I felt kind of bad because I was like, man, Nintendo's effed. And then it's like they come off cute, like seeming like they're even more crazy with like their Disney Infinity weird strategy of like we're gonna have this thing that does this thing.
Oh, their little
yeah, their
action
figure thing.
figure
Voice strategy?
thing.
Yeah.
But they also announced another Pokemon remake too, which
Yeah.
I mean, I guess people were excited about that, but I was like, why? Why would they do that? But then I was like, of course, Pokemon makes the money, so that's why they do that. But still,
You can apparently also get Pokemon soundtracks on iTunes now, so I guess that makes them some money. Does anyone remember the soundtracks from those games?
I
I only know
put
the
the
battle
sound
theme.
off.
I don't even.
That's the only thing I know is Battle
So-
Theme, which is the same in every game.
What's the battle theme? Okay.
Do,
The one that's do
do,
do do
do,
do
do.
do. I think it's like, but I think it's only like that in like the original ones. I think they might have changed it in the. Like I said, I play with the sound off now anyway, so I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, that
but-
I don't even know what the current I don't even know what they are on anymore. It's like, is it Pokemon 8 or
like
10?
on 27 or something at this point because there's been so many remakes and 2s and different colors and all kinds of shenanigans going on. I don't think Nintendo even knows what they're
Like
on anymore.
they went from colors to like
It's not like
diamonds and
XY.
sapphire.
I know,
And...
it's like, we don't
Letters.
know anymore.
XYZ.
We're just gonna make stuff up. They're on letters and gems and colors and all kinds of other shenanigans. They're just like,
are they gonna do like food next or something?
now there are Greek letters involved. And
Oh,
it's like,
Greek letters. Oh, that's gonna be the that.
like, oh my god, guys,
I
we're
think
running out of
you spoiled E3 for Nintendo.
Oh no.
Pokemon Omega.
It's
Well, I
called
think
Alpha
one
and
of the
Omega.
is already called like Alpha
Yeah.
and Omega Ruby or some crap like that. So at this point, they're probably just gonna throw darts at a board and just smash random words together. And it's gonna be like Pokemon napkin, gold food, something. Or so it's like, what?
We're
What are you
Japanese.
doing?
It's fine.
It's like,
No. It's like, well, it worked for making all these Pokemon, so making a name. Same strategy.
Just watch it be fruit or something. Pokemon Apple, orange,
Pokemon Orange. Yes.
But orange is a
Banana.
color too.
banana.
It's like comparing apples and oranges. That was
Kiwi.
a clever strategy, actually. And then their mid game could be fruit salad or something.
There's also been some stuff about the GameSpy games that are, or not GameSpy games, but games
Oh,
that use
yeah.
GameSpy that are either surviving or getting shut down. There's like 50 EA games that are just like dead. I usually like to go and do that when a game goes offline, but that's just depressing, so I'm not going to this time.
Most of them are
Bungie,
DS
yeah.
and Wii games.
Yeah.
Bulletstorm on PS3 is going away,
Yeah,
as well as Mortal Kombat on Vita.
Oh no.
Dead. Sorry.
just dead. Ah. Well,
Battlefield 2, I think, is also losing.
I know. I was like, no. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a video on YouTube and be like, yep, I never got to play this online, but I can at least enjoy one day before the servers go offline.
There's another service called Game Ranger, which I believe was a GameSpy competitor that is trying to step in and like save some of these titles if publishers will let them and presumably pay them.
Oh.
For example, Star Wars Battlefront was originally just going to be allowed to die, but Game
Dead.
Ranger is like, no, we already got that one in. So some of the games, like, they put out a very noble statement where they're like, these games need to survive because they're part of
Because
history,
we want
and
your
people should
money.
be able to experience them, decades from now, just because they want to.
because we still
Yeah,
want
it's
your
like
money.
EA put out this weird statement. They're like, the peak traffic on these games is like less than 1% of all current EA games combined, or something weird of like why they're shutting down the servers.
Could be true.
If it's only
I don't
one-
care if it's True Gamer.
like,
Maybe I'm gonna one day jump online and play some Battlefield
well,
2.
they can't afford to wait that one day, Tekken, because I'm pretty sure this is costing them money. So why would they even bother?
Well, they should fix this for the future.
It's kind of funny because like Bungie came out and said they're gonna save Halo on PC,
Why?
and it's only gonna take 4 people to fix that. So EA can't spare 4 people to make a change in the code to make
because
it.
they have a new Madden to worry about for this year.
Uh,
Priorities, gamer. Priorities.
oh, Madden is coming out. You know, Madden's coming out, and that's like there's nothing on it.
There was a trailer.
No preview.
I didn't watch
No-
it though.
Is there a trailer?
I think so. I
Didn't
think I
say
saw
it.
something about it, but I was like, it's Madden, so I didn't care.
Well, at this point, you know what's coming out, and they don't really need to announce it or anything. It's like
Oh, does it,
it's
does
every
it
year.
look
It's
next gen? Does it
Just
look
like-
next gen?
just like every year there's a Call of Duty, every year there's a Madden. These are things that just happen, gamer. We know it's happening, so
Does it,
they don't have
does
to
it
make a big
look
fuss
next
about
gen?
it.
Is the jerseys swing?
No,
swim?
gamer, no. It's an effing Madden game. What the hell are you expecting to happen?
Because like when the next gen version came out. Oh wait, what are we talking about? It's fine. We're talking about the demise of GameSpy, but like, oh, they were saving Halo. That's cool, but that's like the only. It's sad. All those EA games. All those EA games.
That you've never played.
Yeah, it's like pour one out.
You're not-
I've never been to play Star Wars Battlefront 2 multiplayer ever. Can't play it on PS2. Can't play it on PC. What the f? But other people that did not lose $500 million last week. Square Enix made 65 million. So good job. Even though
Despite finding that none of their properties are making enough money for them, because they're all.
Did you see their depressing lineup for this year? Holy shit, man!
What did they release their list for this year?
It was like what? Drakengard 3,
Ew.
Murdered Soul Suspect.
Ew.
It looks okay. And then it was that they had Kingdom Hearts 2.5 remix.
Ew. I forgot that was still coming out this year.
I was like,
Oh,
oh
ew.
my god.
I do want that one.
No, you don't.
I bought the first one. I supported Square Enix.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't, gamer. You're doing it all wrong. They need to learn
If it's
their
the only
lesson.
way I can get Kingdom Hearts 3 faster, I'll do it.
You won't. That's not how they work. You should know that by now. There's been 8 Kingdom Hearts games, gamer. Clearly, that is not their goal.
It is their goal because they're making 3 though. Yay!
People like him. People like him is why Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 exist. And then they're all mixing Roman numerals and decimals, which is blasphemy in and of itself. But yes, you have to stop that.
But they're making money because of what is it? Dragon Quest Pocket Monsters? Fuck.
That game.
Really?
Series.
I think that was in the report. Because I think I don't even know what was funny in the report. They never even said anything about like lightning returns.
Well, that's because, well, for one, they shipped like a small amount to begin with, so I'm pretty sure they weren't like counting on that to make the money. Even they knew they shouldn't have did what they did.
It's
So-
hilarious. It's
Like-
hilarious.
They knew. They knew.
I still bought it. Support
I know
them.
you did. I saw Gamer, and I was very disappointed in you.
Support them. Support
No, don't support them.
them. What's another company? Tekken?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Money wise?
Oh, I said Square Enix, 65 million.
Money. It might be like has to do with like because they still have their MMOs going, so that probably is helping them too.
Oh yeah, because 14 is a hit. So
It
I
is
also,
now.
I also read
was it
an
purposely?
I didn't read the article, but I saw in the highlight that it was like the Tin 2 did good. So
Well, of course it did. It's like, well, 10 is like the best one in the series. 10 just happened to be packaged with the game, so they were just like, why not?
Final Fantasy 3 coming to Steam with stuff.
oh, did you see how much it cost though? Jesus
No.
Christ, man.
much is
$16.
What? 60?
What?
16.
Oh, I thought you said 60.
Oh, it's like you could even the remade one wasn't that much. What the hell?
It's still a lot of money for that.
But it's-
Oh
it's
my
a
god,
good
it's only
gamer.
But they're just
Sorry.
porting it. It's like
Plus
You're-
Final
Well, it's
Fantasy
Square
pack.
Enix gamer. That's what they do. That's how they made
It is.
$65 million.
I mean, not even when they released 7 and 8 on Steam, it wasn't that much.
It was
true.
it was close. It
It
was
was like
not.
10.
It was like.
It was like-
Oh,
Actually, you're right.
10,
You're right. I think it was like
12?
10 or 15. It wasn't. It
Yeah.
wasn't 16.
It was up.
It was less than 16.
Oh, $1 extra. Oh no. It was still up there though, because people were complaining about that too when they released it. So
Oh well, it's Steam. It'll be cheap soon.
yeah, that's true.
And an update to the thing we talked about last week, Drive Club PS Plus Edition. You will be able to keep your thingy after or your Plus Edition after your or the upgrade after if you upgrade, you'll be able to keep it if your Plus expires.
yes.
Good
Yay.
riddance.
As it should be.
Yeah, that was a stupid plan in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. That makes no freaking sense.
I'm trying to find the Nintendo thing. Just hold on.
Important.
I'm
No.
scrolling backwards through time.
Because it's
Oh,
that
I guess
hard to find.
the redesigned Vita came out with Borderlands 2, so nobody here has it though. Surprise gamer.
well, that's because we all already own Borderlands 2 in like probably several forms at this point. So it's like, what's the point? And it's only 2-player
Yeah, I
co-op.
know. That's
Hell. What the hell?
this is in 1996.
Haha. Wait, no, because we had multi-taps back then. So I think they'd still have more than 2-player co-op.
Like, I was about to buy one, but then I was like, the screen doesn't look that good. The yellow tint is really not jiving with me.
And the fact that you already have a Vita. So
That too.
that.
But it's like, it looks so good. Like, the ergonomics of it, there's so much. It looks so much better. Especially the buttons, like the. Because on the Vita, the start, select, and the PlayStation button are like these weird oval shaped things. And like, what the hell? Now it's like on the redesign, like they're actually buttons you could press in. rather than being depressed.
Just any excuse to buy something. This one.
Plus the slider, people said that like it feels like the difference between the 1000 PSP 1000 2000. It's that great.
Wow.
And
Wow, even Sega made money. Surprise! Well, they're the company that owns them, so you know they made like how much does it say? 302 million. It's down 8.2%, but still they made hundreds of millions of dollars. So you're kind of be surprised.
how? Like, what did they release?
I will.
Nothing in the game side, right?
They had Total War, Rome, Football
Oh.
Manager, Sonic Lost World, some other stuff. Here, gamer, here's the article while I try to find this Nintendo thing.
Of course, Sega had games released. What is Gamer talking about?
Sega or their other
I
companies?
said they're the company
they
that
bought.
owns them, gamer, but then technically they made money because they're owned by them. So that's what the story says. Just saying. I'm trying to find
That
this.
is crazy. Well, Total Rome is it does sell on PC, so
Does it though?
Oh, also there's a new DC Universe Online add-on for Wonder Woman. I saw that on the store. I was like, oh yeah, I need to buy the rest of them.
oh man, this is sad. Yakuza Ishin only sold 390 in Japan.
390 copies? Oh, I was about to say
Thousand.
that's not bad.
That's sad. That's probably why they won't localize it here,
No.
because they know it's gonna be even less.
It's better than what Valkyria Chronicles did. So, yeah.
A new Killing Floor has been announced. Killing Floor 2 coming out whenever it gets out
I don't even know what that is.
on
so.
Steam
It's
OS and PC.
It's like a horde mode game. A lot of people like it, but when I played it, it's like I didn't like it that much.
It's too twitchy for me.
New Unreal Tournament will be free to use and develop on. It's weird.
Yeah, it's gonna be community driven. Like the way they're gonna make money is like someone will sell something and they'll just get a percentage. That's how they're gonna make money.
Oh, and speaking of game announcements, last week EA announced that there will be no Need for Speed this year, which marks the first time in 13 years that there isn't an annual Need for Speed game.
Oh wait, they had those annually too?
It's funny because I saw it, I was like, maybe they should just go back to doing, instead of 2 Need for Speed games, Need for Speed and Burnout, because, I love me some Burnout, and it doesn't play like Need for Speed, so... But that's not going to happen. Rest in peace, pour one out. Burnout's now in the clutches of EA, where they take things out of the back and shoot them in the head.
Oh, but it's true.
Pretty much.
Well, that's crazy.
Well, that's just Madden.
It's even longer than like Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty. It's like,
See,
wow,
I had because I had the same fatigue I had for Need for Speed, but it happened like way before like the current times. It's like everybody's like, oh, well, Criterion's working on it. It's like, dude, no. It's like back in the day of like I think it was, I don't remember what it's called. I think it was never mind. I'll look it up. Underground. Yeah, Underground 2, and then after that, it was just like downhill. It's like FU. I'm not sorry, not FU, but like the style of the game that like it turned into is just like something I just didn't like anymore, so I just stopped playing them. And then people are like, oh, Most Wanted is like, pass. I just haven't gone back to them until they're like super cheap. Like Most Wanted was like $10 digitally, so I bought it on the Xbox, but it's still not awesome, or not awesome enough to be like, oh yeah, I see what everybody's getting at. Oh wow, oh wait, never mind. Oh wait, no. Namco Bandai made money too. Their revenue was up.
You said it wrong.
No, it says Namco Bandai. Okay, I found the crazy Nintendo stuff.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
Took long enough. Sheesh, I
So-
guess it's that hard to find good Nintendo news nowadays, eh?
Well, it happened last week, and I didn't have it open to the thingy that it was in. But here's the NFC card thing, and then they're also going to have a smartphone thing and a Mario Kart TV app thing, and then a
Mario Kart TV app.
Yes, gamer. Mario Kart TV app for smartphones.
Wait, that doesn't seem. Wait, what?
I'm confused.
Yeah, I was just about to say, why So
Oh, okay. Oh, you mean you could upload clips from Mario Kart? Is that what you mean? Oh, yeah, that's what this app is. Okay. Yeah, like one of the new features in Mario Kart, I think it was in one of the Mario Kart Direct. Um, in the game, you could upload races to YouTube.
oh, but you can't do it directly. Is that not a thing?
No, you could do it directly. It's directly. This one is just an app to view those videos.
Ew. Why? Just
So, it's sort of like the battle log app because it seems like you could use watch times and compete. Doesn't matter.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Mm.
Mario Kart looks fun.
It looks pretty.
I was gonna. I'm not gonna say it. Yeah, it does look very pretty. Oh, wow, Capcom made money too. There you go. Monster Hunter 4, to think.
Well, of course, Monster Hunter made the money. That's not a shock. It's probably the only thing that is making the money nowadays.
Yeah, it's only 33.8 million though, so not. It's no, Rockstar 1 billion or 2 billion.
It's more than what you made.
It's more than what you made too. So
Well, I'm just saying. I never said it was bad though. You're all like, "Oh, it's only
I
32."
didn't say compared to me. I'm just saying compared to other
Uh-huh.
publishers out there in the video game realm. And also, Dying Light has been delayed to February 2015. That's the first-person parkour zombie game that I don't really care
Oh
about.
no, said no one.
I wonder, I wonder if the release date was going to be October 7 or whatever the release date for everything is.
Probably, and they're like, "Crap! Well, we can't do this now because everything's coming out on that day." So February seems like a safe number date thing.
For now.
Well, I mean, how many games usually come out in February? I mean, January is like maybe, and then like randomly in like April or something. Then you have your summer drought, and it's like everything in the fall. February's safe. They're good. They're all right. They're fine.
And then Nintendo has said that they're going to be licensing their characters more soon, so we'll get more info on that before the end of the calendar year, Iwata said. So who knows what Nintendo licensed properties or projects will be popping up.
Yes.
Oh dear, this could not end well. Because, you know, if you weren't already sick of Mario and Luigi and the rest of the gang, imagine them popping up everywhere else, so Nintendo can be like, well, we lost $500 million, we gotta make it up somewhere.
But yes, they kind of do. So.
And, you know, Iwata's all like, well, Nintendo is not in a dead end, and, you know, as soon as the Wii U came out, we're already working on, you know, new hardware. So if we need to just, you know, chuck this one like a Sega Saturn and put out a new Nintendo console, we might do it. Because, you know, they're already making a new Nintendo thingy for developing countries.
Nintendo's full of it.
Oh, was that what that design was for? Was that for them?
The Wii U thing?
No, that 3DS looking thing, portable.
3DS looking portable.
Oh, never mind.
I haven't seen that gamer.
The 3DS is a portable. I just want to put that out there. So,
No, I mean it was like the patent design was like for a single screen, dual stick thing. Whatever. Just don't mind me.
yeah, you sound insane right now.
Well, I'm not sure if it's a handheld or a console. It could be both. So we'll
This
see.
just means like why haven't they fired Iwata yet?
That's what Michael Packer's saying like every week on Pack Attack. It's hilarious. He just like talks so much crap on Iwata, and it's just so good. It's just so lovely to watch. But Gamer, they made so much money under him, and like if they let him go
I know,
and put
but-
someone else there, I mean maybe the ship is already sunk so far that they can't be turned around or
They could just make him co-president or
demote him,
just demote him to like a.
window seat. That's what it's called in Japan.
I was just about to say, what?
Because I mean, the Wii U is such a disaster. It's like
But
there's
the Wii
no
was
way
such
to.
a hit, Gamer. It's like
Is
Can't
it a disaster though?
can't have your
Is it?
cake and eat it too all the time. I mean, I'm sure if they like burn through $500,000 for the next 2 years, they'll be gone. But until that happens, it remains to be seen.
Hmm.
But yeah, that is pretty much it for the news.
Or is it?
Wonder what Nintendo license stuff we'll see. Man, hopefully it's not another terrible licensed live action film.
They only did like the one, right?
Yeah, and it was terrible. Just saying.
It was also like,
Never forget RPG.
yeah, that I don't think that was their fault though. We were kind of like low on special effects back then. It's not
That's a
really
good
their. Like, so you can only do so
It's like,
much.
well, no, there's a reason old movies are terrible. They just couldn't do awesome stuff back then.
But now, man, we have so much stuff. So much stuff now. We can make real fireballs and stuff.
We can have Magneto throw a stadium, an entire stadium.
It's true. He does that. Although I'm almost sure. I mean, how much metal is really in that stadium? I feel like he's doing it all wrong. Because concrete isn't magnetic, from my understanding.
But
Right.
the metal seats.
Yeah, but wouldn't that have just ripped out the seats though? When he was trying to move it, because I mean, the stadium itself is pretty heavy. So even though he could hold up the seats, he wouldn't be able to have a force to hold up the stadium itself.
If anybody's
So-
wondering, Tropical had to leave because he had a sneeze attack. Well, not a sneeze attack. He was just fighting off a sneeze or something.
For like a half hour or something. It's weird. He's weird. It's okay. He's Asian. Just that's our excuse for just like developers.
They're weird.
That's how it works. There's weird. They're Asian. It's alright.
What?
No offense, game.
They're weird and they're Asian are two different things, RPG.
Well, you guys are always talking about the Japanese developers like that. Don't try to put that on me.
Do you, off topic, but is there going to be a Japanese presence at this E3? You think?
Sony is a Japanese company. So
I mean, like
yeah.
third party.
I mean, I'm sure Square Enix will be there in some way, shape, or form. They're the only Japanese company I know of that isn't Sega or Atlas.
What if Sony drops the bomb and says Final Fantasy 15 is Sony PS4 only?
It's not gonna happen.
Well,
Gamer.
they can't because they already said it's multi-platform.
Oh, did they?
Too late. That'd be kind of a spit in the face at Microsoft. It's like, so we kind of went back on that, and
I think this E3 is gonna be just like last E3 in that regard, where
You think
there's
so?
gonna be a very small amount of third-party exclusives.
Well,
'Cause it's just not like the risk-averse-ity of it. It's like it's not worth it. Apparently, there's some game called Bombshell that's being worked on by 3D Realms for PS4 and PC. It's an action RPG. I haven't watched it yet, but doesn't look that terrible from the screenshot. So.
doesn't look that terrible. I guess that's as good as you're gonna get.
And then lastly, 8 Call of Duty Ghosts teams are going to compete at the X Games tournament style for the first thingy there at the X Games. So yeah, does anybody else have anything to add before we end this episode and wrap it up?
No. Nope. Just wrap it up.
Alrighty. So check us out, aimlesspodcast.com, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, wherever else on the internet, and aimlesspodcast.com. RPG Gamer, do you have any words before we sign off?
I'm awesome.
I don't want to use Game On anymore because Microsoft's using it for their briefing.
That's funny.
Alrighty. So, until next week, will RPG be here at the beginning of the podcast? Will all podcast participants make it to the end of the podcast? Will someone finish a game yet again? Who knows? Find out next week on the next episode of Aimless Babble Z.
Yeah.